Guys Who Cry podcast. I'm your host, Adam Cook, and Ruben Dinaldi is not here today. He's at work, but we've got some special guests because they're family. Family is here. So Greg Aloise runs all the sound and production. He's family. But we also have Andrew, Eula Cook, and Eula's cousin all the way from Germany, Gina. So welcome, guys. Thank you all for coming today.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hey.
Good to be here. It's good and nice to see you.
So it's great to see you. It's been... When did I see you guys last? Because I came to North Carolina a little while ago, but that was like 2 years ago.
I love that you always say a little while ago. It was pre-pandemic, which means it was at least 3 years ago.
That's wild. Yeah, that's wild. You're right.
I think
Came with your dad, right?
I think we were in the house. Yeah, we were out in Johnson County, North
100%.
Carolina. So that was 2017, 2018.
Yeah, it was the winter. I remember it was really cold.
It had to be 2018.
I think it was pretty cold.
Had to be 2018 because it was before like COVID was a thing.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you guys were came down in a giant Suburban.
Yes, that's right. With my dad.
Between the two of
Dad,
you.
yes. So
It was just you and Dad, and it was like, oh, we're gonna drive, and I was like, wait, oh, what car are you in? Wait, are you in this giant Suburban? It's just the two of you, and you're in this huge car. You've got like a half a bag.
Yeah.
And the two of you and enough room for like 12 people.
I probably brought like 12 pairs of shoes. I don't know.
I forgot about that.
I don't even know if I said this. Andrew is my brother. And can I say how old you are? I'm 35.
You
Do you know how old he is?
Do you know how old I am?
49.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
all right, yeah.
Very good.
Right. Okay.
I'll
Very
be
good.
50 this year. I'll be
Yeah.
50 this year.
Okay, that'd be 50 this year.
How old are you now? 35?
35. I'll be 36 this year. Yeah.
Okay, I hate to say it. How old is Dad? We had this conversation.
He's 70 something, right?
Well, yeah, but I think
that's
he's
all I
turning
know.
Well,
That's
he
all I know.
thought-
70.
He thought he's 79.
I think he's turning 79 this
Gosh,
year.
dude, I can't.
Which is in
how
what,
much?
2 weeks?
How much longer is it?
A month
make it?
away.
I don't know. Like
A month
yeah.
away.
He always says that
I
too.
know,
He's
isn't
always like, "Well, at my funeral, it's going to be happening soon, so you better play some good
Jesus.
music."
Well, that's
We
what
always
He's really
joke about
started
that
saying
stuff.
that?
That's what they do.
No, he's been
Never
saying
said
that.
that one.
Yeah,
He's been saying that for the last 30 years. Yeah.
Okay, well then we're good.
Is that why we're not allowed to see
If
them?
this is a normal pattern thing, my dad always said that was exactly the thing with my grandmother, his mom.
Yeah.
Like, she would literally say this my entire life, and she stopped saying that like months before she actually passed away, which was in 2020. And he was just like, I should have known it was close.
She was sort of preempting
It
it
was
what she was saying, but like,
Stop saying it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I
and then our grandma right now, she's been saying it since I've been 10. So like
Gotcha.
Gina, my grandma. So like she literally all the time, when we were in Germany in December and
Yeah.
we saw her, she goes, well, I know this is the last time that I saw you, so I figure I'd give you some money.
oh, that's
like,
nice.
Okay,
Okay. Fork it up. Yeah, seriously. Oh my gosh, man.
But yeah, she said that since I've been, I don't know, 10.
It's
It's
pretty.
like turning 80 this year, so.
It's pretty fun to joke about. I've been to some pretty fun funerals, I'd say. Yeah. Have you guys ever been to a funeral that you thought was kind of like light?
Fun.
It's kind of a
funeral?
dumb question, but it's also kind of funny.
No.
No?
No.
Well, actually,
No.
yeah, there's been one or two that were like,
I mean,
no. Well, it's better than you guys busted on me for not remembering our
Well,
text,
no,
which actually was pretty funny.
We'll get back to that.
You should get back to that.
We
Yeah.
will get back to that.
Because we're foodies. I'm kind of sad that Ruben's not going to be here.
I'm not
Yeah,
even kidding.
I
That's literally
know.
why I was just like, oh yeah, just ask Ruben. He will probably know the best freaking pizza in Delaware.
So I wanted to
And guess, and what are we having now?
we're having not Domino's, Papa John's.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to get them
so
special
good.
beers because the last time that Andrew came over years ago, I was like, Andrew, I have beer. And he's like, oh, cool. What
Oh,
do you have?
God.
And I was like, oh, I have Bud Light Limes. And he's like, Bud Light Limes? And you're a bartender? Like you're, not a professional drinker.
I mean, he was.
maybe
He wasn't
not
at some
anymore.
point.
I don't know
Probably not
anything
anymore.
about beer, right? And then so I was like, what do you guys want this time? And I thought you said something local, but you were saying you wanted local pizza, and I misinterpreted it as local beer. So I was like, well, I got Dogfish Head.
Okay. I was
So funny.
now I understand why that conversation took that way, because you were like Bud Light Lime. I was like, yeah, Bud Light Lime, haha, Dogfish. Oh no, I meant we meant
A local pizza, yeah.
we were
The
trying
beer.
to-
who cares?
we
right?
were
It's
trying
like-
to say, hey, the
I do actually
German
not
is
care
with us
about the beer.
Yeah.
in America, and like this era, there's a lot of great food up here
Sure.
that you can't get in North Carolina, and also that's more difficult to find in Germany. So
Right.
like when I go to Germany, I want to have some schnitzel and some currywurst, and and all the great German beer.
Sure.
And so I was like, hey, get some local,
Let's get some local stuff.
Italian pizza.
Oh man,
Good old Papa John's.
So Ruben and his buddies just had a pop-up at Cozy Corner Restaurant. It's a small little restaurant on Union Street. It's been there for forever. I mean, maybe even since we were young. I'm not sure, but like
Yes.
yes. Do you remember that?
No.
Okay.
But it sounds great.
But it's yeah. So they had this really thick like Sicilian style pizza, and it was amazing. But I mean, I don't know how we would have gotten that tonight, but that's what you were looking for, I'm sure.
Something like that.
Not Papa
Yeah.
John's.
No,
Right, everything
like
pizza.
Listen, Papa John's is still pretty good.
At least I didn't get like Hawaiian
I'm
pizza
actually-
or anything. That would be like,
Listen, I
is not
actually love Hawaiian pizza.
I do too, yeah.
So
I'm sure it'll be fine, and also it's still an experience for the German because it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
Papa John's is everywhere.
right. It's like real,
But
American chain.
it
That's-
really is.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's what is more American than a national chain for food.
Yeah, like McDonald's,
Like
like when I
corporate
travel, I want to
America.
try McDonald's wherever I go. you
Well, we
know?
have a lot of McDonald's.
It's
in
really,
Germany,
I
too.
know, it's a lot of fun.
It is different though.
But like, okay, right there in Pike Creek, where the Valero and the Total Wine.
Yeah, 5 minutes away,
Is
right?
there not that little Italian place?
It's
right
still there.
there.
That place is great. Yeah, I should have gotten pizza from there.
It's
Cafe
right
Valentina.
there.
Do they deliver?
No, I didn't
So
have
you
time to go
would've-
get
so you
it.
would've had to
Yeah,
walk.
it would have been.
But we could
Oh,
have
we could have
picked it
picked it
up
up.
because
You
we
could
had
have.
to drive right past it to get here.
And that's funny. That's not even something I would think to do. Like, oh, I'll go make them pick up pizza. But yeah, you totally could
Well,
have. Yeah.
I mean,
There's so
like we
many.
had a whole conversation on
Right.
the way in because Delaware has different alcohol laws in North Carolina, right?
okay, sure.
So we're like, oh, should we stop at the Trader Joe's? And she's like, yeah, we should stop at Trader Joe's because
Yeah.
she's like, oh, we got to get some beer. And I was like, oh, I don't know if they sell beer at the
Right,
Trader
because
Joe's
it's a
here.
grocery store. Yeah, maybe not.
So they don't.
Maybe
they
not.
don't. And
Okay.
but you have the Total Wine because you have to have in
Really
Delaware.
close.
It has to be a specialized store, right?
Right.
That sells beer, wine,
Yeah, you're not going to
alcohol.
buy it at a 7-Eleven or whatever.
And
like you
here
can other
it's
places.
weird here because the laws are something like the place that sells alcohol is not allowed to sell other things. So you can't,
That's right.
you can't buy cups and potato chips when you're buying your beer. You can only buy beer and bourbon and vodka, but you can't buy chips.
I have seen chips there at the liquor store, but not like you can't like buy goat cheese or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
you're not allowed. Okay, it's weird that they even sell chips because, like, my memory is that there was some law that says you can't buy things to make a party, but you can sell alcohol.
I've noticed they've gradually started adding those things to those
So
stores.
they probably
like, by
loosened up
register.
the laws.
Loosen up the laws a little
But like
bit,
in North Carolina, every gas station, grocery store,
Right.
convenience store sells like low level alcohol content. So I think it's like 11% or lower.
And what?
So
yeah.
it's like wine and mead and beer and coolers.
Right.
But the high percentage alcohol, the liquor, spirits, and all that is
Right.
ABC run stores.
I wish
So
Ruben drinks this stuff called Malort. It's a liquor from Chicago and it tastes awful. It's the worst liquor I've ever had.
sounds great.
But it's really fun to drink. I wish we had some.
What do you usually
Why?
drink? What is Fireball your favorite shot?
No, I've grown out of Fireball. This is just Jack Daniels, like whatever. Or I do like not Goldschlager. What's it called? Jägermeister.
Fire.
I love Jägermeister.
Let me tell you, the Germans have had enough of that.
No, yeah, it's just
And
so
actually,
sweet.
When we were 16.
the German
Yeah.
Jägermeister is better anyway.
I wish
It
I
does
had a
taste
shot
better.
It's
before
different.
this. Oh
It's
yeah,
different.
I bet it is. It probably is a little.
Did you just
different.
say you wished you had
Well,
a
we
shot
do.
before
Why?
this?
Don't tell mom. No, she'll listen. But like I do,
Oh.
we'll have a
Hi,
shot like
Gloria.
before we do the podcast, which is kind of like, just kind of like, it's
Is that
nice.
like your normal intro now?
Yeah, we don't do it on camera. You know, it's more like, hey, these guys are really loose. What were they doing before the podcast? But
Tequila.
no, it does help. It does help. Man, it sucks that Ruben wasn't here. I feel
But,
really bad.
yeah,
These are
so
such
we-
foodies. Yeah.
We were
Don't
talking,
feel
but
really bad.
I was
I'm
saying
sad,
to her,
but it'll be all right.
we were going like we were so close to going to that shopping center. Like it would have been so easy to pick up
Yeah.
pizza from that
Well,
place.
and
'cause
now-
we were
Anyway.
we were
Now
like,
the pizza's
Total
gonna come
Wine,
right
it's
in the
there.
middle of the podcast, so we'll have to run up and go get it and
Right.
just eat on camera. It's fine. No, I'm just kidding. We
Not
won't
for
do that.
faces.
So what else? So you guys went to DC.
Correct.
You drove from North Carolina to DC to visit DC a little bit.
Correct.
What else are you going to visit? Philly, not New York.
Yep.
New York.
That is literally where she really wants to
We
go.
she
is New
yeah,
York
really
City.
wants to go to
City.
New York.
Well, actually,
So
that's not true. She just really wants to go to the Hard Rock cafes.
Okay. Yeah,
so
that's
we
fair.
had to
They're
hit
fun.
the one in DC. We're
Okay.
gonna hit the one in Philly, and we're gonna hit the one in New York City, and then when we're driving back on Friday in Baltimore too.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Because those are the ones that are around here.
Yeah, that'll be really fun.
We're not going to Boston.
No, we're not going to Boston.
Oh, Boston would be nice too, especially now.
I have no time.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Already going to be a lot of running around.
Putting a lot into 5 days.
So you guys just got here. You were in DC, got here, and then you're going back what day?
Friday.
Okay.
Friday.
It'll be about 5 days or whatever. Yeah. That'll be nice. It's gonna be fun. I mean, you're staying with.
I'm glad we broke it
Alan,
up. Some. Yeah.
My
Alan,
cousin,
Amy.
Alan, who is also your cousin. Yes,
correct.
right.
Since you know your brothers.
Family, whatever. I don't know anything. I'm an idiot. Okay. My reading comprehension is terrible. I was terrible in school. I don't even know where her family is. No.
You're
Alan,
not terrible in school.
I wasn't very good in school. I hate school. Yeah. Wait, you were pretty good in school, Andrew, right?
Until he didn't care anymore.
No, but just in general, as long are you a good test taker?
As long as it didn't involve homework, I was okay.
Yeah, I know. Ugh.
If you got to take it home with you and do it outside of the parameters of the schooling, then no.
Like, why would you still do that, right?
That's how I thought about
it. They still do it.
But I did okay on like tests and things.
Right, tests.
And I'm still pretty, I can do a lot of like fast math. Like she's always like, what's the 45% of 252?
Right, that's
horrible at percentages.
You know.
What were you good in school, Eula?
Was I in school?
Yeah, no. Were you good in school?
Oh.
Just like, but did it come naturally to you?
Not at all.
Did you have to exert a lot of effort?
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I went to high school in Germany, of course, but I was on like the highest level of high schooling over there because we have like a weird school system of like
different like rankings or levels,
kind of
performance levels.
So I did go to what's equivalent to like a high school here.
Okay.
Except it was 13 years.
13 years, yeah.
But it's the only type of schooling that will actually allow you to go to university afterwards.
Yeah, and that's a government-funded university, right? Publicly funded.
It depends.
No? Oh, did you have to pay for it?
A lot of, well, I never went, so I don't know.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But I'm pretty sure not all of them are government funded, but a lot of them are. And like tuition is so like almost non-existent.
Yeah, it's really cheap. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
300 Euro im Monat? Oder 300 Euro im Semester?
First time we've ever had German on the podcast.
$300
I like it.
per semester.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Like that is like that. And those are just like some fees. Like it's not even crazy. And if you don't have it, the government will actually like supply your living money too. And it's kind of like getting a loan, except you don't really have to pay it back.
Oh.
Like if you make it through your school and you get a nice job afterwards, you only have to pay what, like, du musst nicht alles wieder zurückbezahlen, ne, für BAföG? You only have to pay back 10%.
Oh, 10%. That's great.
And like overall, it's already not going to be a lot of overall schooling money, but then you also only have to pay 10%. But you have to finish with a degree. If you don't finish with your degree, you have to pay everything back.
This is interesting. If you had to go back to school and learn something, like just for fun, didn't have to worry about a job, like what subject would you study? Just
Translation.
Had to pick. You would have done translation. That makes sense. What would you have done, Andrew?
I have no idea.
Anything.
Actually,
even if it would be like something on the trade side too.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think what I would have done.
I couldn't tell you because I always I feel like I've done the things that I wanted to do. Like I wanted to do radio. I was on the radio.
Right.
I wanted to do production, like what Greg is doing. I've done that.
Right.
You know, I don't know what other thing I would go to school for.
Yeah, just for fun to learn. Because I do enjoy being in class and like learning stuff and doing whatever. It's kind of a good formal way to do it, but I just don't retain anything, you know? But
yeah, that's me.
Greg, you talked about that recently, right? Like you talked about not going back to school necessarily, but doing a more like a coding test or whatever to see like where you were. Remember you were talking about that?
Yes.
Yeah. What was that? That wasn't going back to school though.
Well, kind of. I mean, it's going back to like a certificate program. Like Facebook has this thing, you can take it for free. You can either become a front end or a back end developer. And I was like, well, I haven't been through a course like that in a long time. It's like, who cares if I have a degree? Like, am I still able to do this stuff? So,
because you felt the same way. Like you got through school and did okay, but I think I feel much more of an experiential learner. Like I just want to do it. Like give me tasks. Like
100%.
We're all like real life.
You finished school though, right? Like you graduated.
Yeah, I finished school.
Did
but
you finish too, Greg?
Yeah, I finished.
Wow. We're the losers.
We're the losers. We
it's just like
the family.
We didn't finish.
Trust me, I just barely.
We feel like we didn't
finished.
have an option, really, you know. So
I think Andy is actually only a semester or 2 semesters technically from graduating.
Something ridiculous. But I was 3 or 4 years in, so I was pretty close. I didn't pass every single class I took, so I was that far away from having a degree.
Yeah.
But I was going to school for communications and production. And I had jobs.
You're already doing it.
That's all the thing. That. Yeah, so it was like, why am I working for this piece of paper when I'm already doing the jobs that I'm going to school for?
That's what I hate so much. I hate that paradigm of having to do that.
Not to mention that it was
kind of what we're doing now.
Incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
So expensive.
It was incredibly expensive. So it's like I didn't understand.
It makes no sense.
The dynamics
and the value. I honestly still don't see the value in it.
Right. And everybody has to find that out for
stopped
themselves. You know what I mean?
But but it's different there. Like, I mean, do you have to pay for books and stuff, or is that kind of part of what happens over in Germany? Like, if you're only $300 a semester,
she's the only one that went to university.
What does that actually cover? Because are you done with school? You're 21.
Not, she's not done with school.
But so she's doing nursing programs. So
she's doing nursing school, correct?
How many years above? Because I know the schooling system is different. So how many years above high school?
So in Germany, when you graduate high school, you already have kind of an associate's degree.
Right. Yeah.
So then
and that's like it's like 13 years.
So then
right?
when you start going to like university or college, you go straight into your subject too.
Right.
Like it's not like here you just like
so it's not like 4 years of postgraduate and then now she's in nursing school. It's like she goes right into advanced learning for nursing.
Mm-hmm.
So her nurse schooling is 3 years.
So you don't live. She doesn't live. You don't live with your parents. No, you live in the town where the university is. Do you have to pay rent for the place where you live? Yes. Does the government help you with the payment for the place that you live since you're in school? No, so it is separate.
Housing is separate. That's living expensive, basically.
Okay.
You know what I'm totally forgetting, and you just mentioned this. Like, how long did you do radio for? It's so apparent.
You can tell, can't you?
That's why I love you so much.
Which is so freaking crazy.
I wish
I'm like, wow, he has never talked this much.
No, but I wish we lived closer because we could all do. We talk about it all the time. We could all do creative stuff a lot more.
No, Andrew's microphone technique is the best we've had on this show.
How long have you been doing it? Yeah,
I haven't actually done radio for many years now.
Right,
the entire time that she and I have been together, I haven't done radio.
Right.
I didn't realize there was microphone technique.
Well, yeah,
look how close he is to it. You're so close.
He's so close.
I'm wearing headphones because you can hear what you sound like. Yeah.
I love it.
Sorry. Actually, she's always said she's like, I don't know why you don't do a
Literally,
podcast.
I've been trying to get him to start a podcast for years. He can't decide on a topic though.
But it's not this. See,
you have all the equipment.
It's the dynamic. Yeah. It's the dynamic of the people that you're with.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder if you're just like by yourself. So that's like any great podcast, it's you and Ruben together.
Yeah.
It's that chemistry that makes
I suggested I would be the counterpart. I don't know that he likes that.
You could. I know one comedian who does it by himself, but he's got such a personality he could do that. You probably could too, you know what I mean? But
I did really enjoy doing that. So there's
I remember going to one of the studios in North Carolina years and years and years when you were doing it.
Yeah.
I have a vivid memory of being in there. And I think were you showing me the machine of like how the machine where you can bleep out someone's like cussing or whatever because there's a delay. Replay? Was there a piece of hardware that did that?
It was a hardware. It was.
I remember that.
It was like very early MP3 technology where when somebody would call in, you're recording the phone call and you could very easily cut and splice. It's
because we're talking about bad words, so I remember that.
And it had like a toggle wheel.
Yeah.
Toggle.
They call it's the instant replay.
Instant replay.
It was a little hard drive based recorder. It had a little jog dial, and when you'd answer the phone, you'd hit record, and then you'd do your phone call. If somebody dropped an F bomb or something, you'd like,
that would be me. I'd be that caller.
Let's do that right now.
I love all the curse words.
You would be that caller.
But then Greg will have to edit them all out afterwards.
Listen, I've been really good so far. Okay.
No,
I'm trying. This is why I asked beforehand because if I actually actively think about it. And you don't get me worked up on anything, we should be good.
We do, but
it's like the child filter.
We do all like to cuss, though. It's a lot of fun. But I always forget to tell people.
I don't think I've ever heard you cuss.
Well, yeah.
That's because usually we're around
you're also around your dad who is like, gosh darn it. And
peanut butter.
Sometimes he thinks it's funny. No, but when I'm with friends and all that stuff too. That's what we were talking about. Aaron, our other brother who is a little more socially conservative now. So he he kind of dropped all that a while ago. I mean, he still probably cusses by himself when he's playing video games. But everybody does,
for sure.
But that's why I think I get along better with you guys now. And even Greg and I have talked about this. And this is no diss on Aaron. It's not like he's listening, and I don't care if he is. But
Hi, Aaron.
He would understand. Like we're just a little bit different. Like I don't mind watching like any type of movie, for example. Right. I don't care about like violence or language or whatever. And drinking. Like I don't drink a lot, but like I definitely get drunk sometimes and all that. I just don't really care. So there's a little bit more that we're just a little more like liberal socially.
100%.
Not like
we're not really conservative at all.
No.
So does he put a limit on what movies he watches?
Maybe
is he
not
like
as much now.
PG-13?
Not really. It's more just like why, like if it was Gladiator, it'd be fine. It's like a historical film, whatever. There's not a lot of language in that, but he's not gonna watch like Goodfellas probably like just for fun. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I do know what you mean. Well, just how
it's very like depraved. Maybe that's why.
Our mom. She's like, oh, it's like cartoons are shooting each other. She's like, oh,
blood.
And that's just
so much violence.
That's a violence thing. That's just it makes her uncomfortable.
She hates
it's
blood.
Not like
she specifically says that she doesn't like the blood.
Yeah, she's not opposed to it.
It's not even the blood. Because like, okay,
no, you're right. It's not because when we watched Harry Potter, she didn't like watching that either. Because
I don't like gory movies.
Like
I don't
literally
necessarily
like. She's like, oh, that's too violent. I can't watch that. I'm like, they're not even. It's not. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's just her. Dad, he doesn't care.
It was great.
Dad doesn't care.
I think he'll watch through most everything.
Yeah,
Dad.
At least now.
Yeah. Oh, he likes. What are the movies? The Revengers or?
Oh well, he likes superhero movies, but he loves.
What are the really bad Sylvester Stallone movies where there's like
the Expendables? The Expendables.
Oh,
yeah, he likes.
It's like
terrible
all the,
movies.
He's like all the action guys that are retired that had careers 30 years ago in one movie,
right?
With a bad plot,
right?
So
he likes all that.
Loves those.
He loves all that stuff,
and that's like total opposite of what Gloria will watch.
Yeah,
you're probably right.
Because they're just pure action violence, and she won't even watch any of it.
The worst. I can't remember the name of the movie. But I want to say Matthew Broderick was in it. I watched a movie with her when I was like a teenager, where there was like a pretty explicit sex scene in it, and it was fine. Like she was kind of laughing, chuckling.
More
I was just
uncomfortable.
Like, I really don't want to watch this
with your mom. No.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to hapen in the movie.
Of course not.
And he's like with a prostitute, and she's saying, "Oh, breathe, breathe, breathe." And it's just like, no. Just reminds me of the one time I walked in on them. But that's another thing.
We might need to cut that out.
I said that just for the podcast. So I'll tell them not to listen to this episode.
Yeah. Tell your mom not to listen to it. She'll listen to that.
I found out that my ex listens to all the podcasts, which is okay because
which one? Can I ask that?
Ecuador. Yeah. She's from Ecuador. I went to visit her in Ecuador.
I don't think we've met her.
Oh no, you haven't met her.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We're talking.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, we really need to catch up on all of your. I don't even know what to call it.
I told her. I said I'm talking to
I don't know.
Escapades.
My brother and his wife, who's from Germany, and I was like, they did long distance, or you went back to Germany.
Well,
for
that's
a while,
actually
but just being from another country.
We actually didn't really do long distance. We kind of sort of broke up and we're like, hey, it's kind of stupid to think that we're not gonna talk to other people. So it was kind of like it wasn't really like a free for all card, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it was.
But what was cute is I remember you told me you came back to visit, and you were already dating someone else.
I was dating somebody in Germany. I actually didn't want to come back at that point. Like, it was really weird because I lived in Munich at the time. I was dating this guy. He was horrible, honestly. Like, he was very manipulative and brainwashy. And it was like right after Christmas, and I didn't even really want to come back. But because I already had booked the tickets, I didn't want to waste the money. And I was doing a trip with my best friend at the time. And so we came back and we went to the bar where we met.
Wow.
And he wasn't there because he got suspended like 2 days before for allowing somebody to get their ID back because he was a door guy there. Anyways, what was really weird to me, and this is like, never really thought that this would happen, but he literally walked, he and a friend of ours kind of texted each other, and she was like, hey, there's a really cute German in the bar. And he was just like, oh my God, I want to come see her. But he wasn't allowed to come in the bar because he just was suspended there, so he didn't want to go in. But so he was like, hey, tell her I'm outside. So like I walk outside and I walk across the street and he's like walking out of the parking lot. And
you see him. Yeah.
So I see him.
Yeah.
Like the first time in like 3 or 4 months or something. And I'm just like, what the hell am I even thinking of dating this guy in Germany? Like, this is the guy that I want to be with. So like, I mean, really though, like it was so weird. And like, I just remember that moment so distinctively, but like it was really strange. But yeah.
Well,
but yeah, so that was definitely it. Like I saw you and you lost like half of your weight, and then I mean that's what it was though.
Was there like I kind of remember it, but
I remember that.
Did we have like a movie moment where we like ran across the parking lot into each other's arms?
It wasn't running towards each other, but you looked extremely happy too. Like I remember you looked really happy. I remember, holy crap, I'm breaking up with a guy in Germany.
Did you hug me with the same intensity that you hugged Gina when you saw her at the airport the other day?
Probably yes.
Because that was
yes.
Like Gina, I have to tell you that in the time that we've been together, that was like one of the most excited getting together that I've ever seen her do. Like she was just like,
I don't run towards people usually at the airport, but I did with her.
She didn't.
But yes, it was the same thing. You literally kind of started running too. Actually, I kind of remember that. But I also was trying to be careful because white collar and the way that the street was like.
No, in the street, there's a lot of traffic there, and
then here's the really funny thing about that was when I came back, he was just like, oh yeah, we should totally like hang out like once or twice while you're here.
Oh, we should totally
it'd be so cool if we could hang out for a little bit, like, but I don't want to see like the whole time. And
that sounds like such a guy thing. I would say the same thing probably.
Honestly, though, your brother had the biggest wall. Like,
let's face it.
This is deep. I like this.
Let's face it. The only reason why I allowed us to get together is because I knew she was
correct, because I was leaving. Because that was there the entire time. But it honestly allowed us both to just be 100% ourselves.
Like it was, and that was the thing I said from day one. And that's one of the reasons why we're together now. And we were talking earlier before the mics were on that how we bicker a lot. We don't actually fight, but we bicker a lot. You know? And because I've always said from day one, I was like, look, I am not going to be anybody but myself 100% of the time. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm not going to put on a face or pretend or try to impress you. You never
actually said that, but that was totally what
if I do. But no, I did. I know. I remember saying I'm not going to be anybody but myself. I remember saying
it was probably obvious too. Like you knew you were dating a genuine person.
I was just it was definitely like we both were just like, well, I'm gonna go back to Germany. Like, what is the future there? Because it's so far apart. So it was just not.
Like, oh well, we'll just have some fun, and you're gonna go back to Germany, and we'll, see you later. But when she went, we still talked.
Yeah,
and that was one of the great things. Like we found that we could still talk to each other when she went back, and like her dad was just kind of like,
my dad's a very critical person.
And she didn't get the support. She didn't get positive reinforcement from her visit to America. She got back
from anybody except my brother,
and everybody was just sort of like, "Oh, I thought you'd be like this, or I thought this would happen," and why did you go? And she was comfortable enough with me to reach out to me and be like, oh, that sucks. I didn't get the support that I wanted. And, she was crying. You were crying.
Oh, I was crying a lot.
You're crying a lot, but she called me and I was like, hey, it's cool. That's just the way he.
I went through a lot of loss at the time too, because all of the friends that I had before I went to America, they all were still in the exact same spot that they were in when I left. So like we all just graduated from high school. Okay. They went on to do like social years or, things nearby, like not even far away from their parents and whatnot. And then I literally just up and left to a completely different country across the ocean. And it was just a very different experience. And I grew up really fast with that.
Yeah. I mean, they were all like, why did you go to America?
They're just like, why do you keep talking about it? And I'm like, because I was just there for a whole year. Like, what are you talking about?
All your experiences.
So I literally came back to Germany for 2 weeks and moved to Munich, which is the furthest place away from my hometown.
Yeah, you clearly were a traveler. You wanted to live your own life and be separate from everything else. What I want to know is when you went back to Germany and then you started dating the other guy, were you like, did that affect your communication where you felt like you had to talk to Andy less? And second, did you get jealous at all? Like, oh crap! Like, she's not with me anymore. Sort of.
We were the entire time.
Number one, he knew.
We were
talking.
Of
course, he knew. Yeah. I assume he knew.
And I got a mysterious Facebook message.
MySpace.
It was
MySpace.
Oh, MySpace.
Some sort of online communication, messenger, whatever. And it was. It was from a girl who was like, "Hey, you don't know me, but my boyfriend or my ex-boyfriend is dating this girl that you know, Eula, and I didn't know, I didn't know if you knew about it or not, and and all this stuff." And my response was like, "Hey, well, Eula's a grown woman and she is free to do
Right.
whatever she wants, and she's 3,000 miles away from me. So, quite frankly, it's none of your business. It's none of my business.
Right.
Who she dates.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is this person was actually the dude.
It was my ex-boyfriend.
That she was dating.
It was so awkward.
Oh, it's the guy you were actually dating.
Yes.
Pretending to be a woman. Oh my God.
Yeah, he was totally catfishing
What?
me.
It was so awkward.
Why was he doing that?
I don't.
Oh, it was no. So this was
weird.
This actually happened after I broke up with him, and what actually happened was, so he knew that I was dating somebody. I want to say that our communication didn't really change, but like overall, like with me working in Germany and like the time difference, we talked less and less just because.
Did he live in Munich?
He was working. I was working. We worked at the same place. That's how we met. But like I said, as soon as I saw him when I came back, I was like, well, I don't want to be with a guy in Germany anymore. So I, as soon as I could, I kind of broke up with him over email. And because I just wanted to let him know. I was like, here's the thing. Yeah. This is definitely the guy that I really want to be with. I was very clear on that. And that's when he actually, so like I was back in Germany and we were still hanging out because there was familiarity and we were just still hanging out and had the same friends and whatnot. So that's when he was just like, oh, this is my chance to ruin this for her. Let me message this guy in America.
And it had no effect whatsoever, which is great.
What's really funny is Andy, of course, tells me that this happened. So I talked to him. This was before I knew it was him. And I was just like, dude, your ex-girlfriend, I need her number because I need to talk to her. Like, that's messed up.
Oh, wow.
And he was just like staring at me because he was so surprised with what type of open communication relationship we have. And that's honestly, I think our strongest suit is the fact that we literally talk about everything. Like there's nothing we don't talk about.
Yeah.
You know, so, and he was just.
We don't talk about Bruno.
True that.
What, the movie?
He doesn't know that. Yes.
We don't talk about Bruno.
What's Bruno?
It's the song from the movie.
We don't talk about
I didn't realize. Actually, I still haven't seen that yet. I need to watch
I
that.
can't believe you. Anyways, so we talk about everything.
I'm curious, both
Except
of you guys.
Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
Listen to him.
Both of you
This
guys.
is not your show.
What? No. Well, I just went to get pizza upstairs, so I was like, guys, keep talking. I knew that wouldn't be no problem.
Nope.
No. Andrew, were you the kind of person who where you were finding a relationship was relatively easy? Not that it was like a soulmate or whatever, but like if you broke up with someone a few months later, you could find somebody else to be in a steady relationship with, or were they few and far between, like maybe a few years in between relationships?
It depends on the time of my life. It would say yes to both of those. Sometimes I wasn't necessarily always. I'm not the type of person that was looking for love.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
but you would meet different girls, and it would be whatever level of commitment, or
sometimes I had girlfriend.
Yeah.
Sometimes I had girlfriends.
Yeah. Right.
Sometimes I had no love whatsoever.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
No,
that's great to know.
I love how you're saying this.
It's just, depending on the time of life, because I understand your question, because there are people, and I have known people, I've had friends that were serial monogamous.
Serial monogamous daters.
As soon as they were done with one relationship, another one would begin almost immediately.
Right.
And I have known people that could not break up with their person and would start cheating on them, and they had this serial over and over again, terrible,
really, the
repetitive,
same thing. I was here for that too.
over time.
Yeah.
And so I'm not either one of those.
Right.
And
it was not always easy. Like sometimes you had at times where maybe you had platonic female friendships, but not anyone you were like hooking up with or in a relationship with. Like I have a lot of platonic female friends, but not necessarily people that I'm doing anything with other than having conversation or going and getting coffee with.
Same. I've had those relationships too, and there's been times in my life where I had a lot of female friends that were just platonic.
Yeah, just platonic.
It's been a little bit of everything.
And you're very social, so it was never hard to meet other people. And you guys actually met in the same bar.
Well, he was the bouncer.
He was the bouncer. Weren't you a bartender?
No.
Were you working there?
I know.
Oh, you weren't working.
I got drunk there.
Oh, you got drunk there. Okay, even better.
She was working there.
Andy. No.
Oh, never mind.
No, I wasn't.
No, okay. Jesus so you weren't. I don't know. I thought I remember.
No,
that.
I actually wasn't. No,
I'm not saying you were a prostitute.
I love that you said that. Like,
first of all,
that's
first
gold,
of all,
baby.
Sex worker. We don't say prostitute
That's true.
anymore.
You do say sex worker.
Sex worker.
Yeah.
Okay.
But,
so she was not a,
was
just
not
to be
a sex
clear,
worker.
she
Thank
was
you.
not a sex worker.
I love you guys so much. Wait, but Yulo, and then what about you real quick? I'm just curious.
About what?
Like, were you not a serial dater, but like,
No,
was it hard for you to find guys to
Yep,
connect with? You know,
100%.
Okay.
Like, I honestly, every single relationship I had before Andy never lasted more than 6 months.
Yeah, gotcha. That's fair.
And
Okay.
I honestly also, I don't know, I just got bored real quick with people.
Sure.
I actually never thought I was going to get married. I never really, like, I always thought the idea of finding like that one person that is just going to capture your
the essence of who you are.
Yeah,
and
like
connection,
for that long seemed weird and crazy to me.
Yeah, it is a little crazy.
Because my parents have been married for a really long time, and I'm just like, I don't know how you guys do it like this long. Like, really? Like, how?
Right.
But I never thought that was a thing.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah,
it's,
I
it's
never
really
wanted. I literally always said I'm never going to get married. I'm not going to have kids.
What's
So,
been
And
I
now,
was-
but
I knew that
like the
very early.
but the point is like now we just celebrated
10 years. 10-year anniversary.
That's wild.
That's just the
married.
wedding anniversary.
Wedding anniversary.
We've been together since 2008. Thanks, Greg.
Oh, that is wild.
Yeah.
That is because I had a friend.
Yep.
I had a friend tell me recently. She was like, she's in a relationship. And she's like, why are you like looking so hard for someone? She's like, you should just stop looking.
No.
And like that person will come along. And I'm like, I understand the sentiment of that
Heck yeah.
piece of advice. I get it. Like, live your life, right? I'm like, I'm always living my life, but I'm also like not gonna just stay in my house all the time when I have the option to go out and like do stuff where I can.
You're
meet
way
people.
too social for that, anyways.
But the thing is, I have
you love being
even
around
in a
people.
relationship.
You're so
like,
extroverted.
I want to
Like,
be
it's-
with people.
Yeah.
Are you the same way?
No.
Okay. I don't mind being at home when I'm in a relationship. I can be at home when I'm in a relationship
Right.
like, with somebody.
Well,
but I still want to be.
Yeah,
You know, I wanna go do
I'm,
stuff.
I'm an introverted extrovert, so
Yeah.
I go through my phases. But I would agree that when I was single, like the years leading up to after the girlfriend I had before Yul and I met, I went out all the time.
Okay.
I was pretty much only at home to sleep,
Yeah.
and so I was either working
That's-
or I was out.
Yep.
But at the same time, there would be times where I just enjoy being at home.
Yeah.
And I just want to watch TV. I don't want to watch some movies, play some video games.
Sometimes you need that to recharge.
And that solitude.
Yep.
And even we go through that now. Actually, we spend a lot of time together. We
we do.
we
We
work
work
together.
We work together, but you like a lot of the same
commute.
TV shows and all that kind of stuff too.
We have a
Similar
lot in
interests.
common, which is weird.
That is
also.
really
Yeah,
great too.
you know. But then every now and then, I'm like, I really need some alone time.
And I think that's important in a relationship too, especially when you
100%.
live in the same house
Yep.
together.
Yep.
Oh crap, I forget what I was gonna say. Oh gosh dang it, this happens all the time.
Now, did you?
Gosh dang it.
I was gonna say that I wish part of me wishes that I had started drinking a little bit younger and had gotten more familiar with like the bar scene and going out and doing all that, which I always did, but just in a not as I would just not go and like go to some club or stay out all the time like people do, because I feel like a lot of people who do that, in my perception, is they meet a lot more people, they have a lot more connections, and I always had a lot of connections, but like I didn't drink or get drunk till I was like 25, 26. So I feel like I missed out on some of that, especially in like my college years. I don't know. I always felt like maybe I would have had more girlfriends. Or
Do you mean that in like specifically like finding your life partner type of
or at least even having like a girlfriend in college? Like
All
if
right, well, here's
Yeah.
the thing.
No?
Your brother is actually the best example because we didn't meet until he was 35.
yeah, that's true.
I am the young one in the relationship.
Yeah.
So like I was 20 when I met him. You
It's-
know,
a lot of it's
and
just
so like
chance,
for
really.
me, and that's
Yeah,
another thing. Like I never would have thought that would have happened to me in my early 20s because I'm just like, I'm not looking for anything like
And
that.
also,
Yeah.
she had already been drinking for 5 years.
Well,
'cause
true that.
German.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
So like,
yeah,
It doesn't matter.
I think
Doesn't
I
really
don't-
matter,
I
yeah.
really,
It doesn't
honestly,
matter.
no, I don't
Yeah.
think you did.
everybody has
because
their own
also like if
social
you're,
groups and-
you're
Yeah.
you meet people that are in that scene,
Right.
and then also
Yeah.
I think the tendency when you're out and in that environment, you tend to put on a different face.
yeah.
You know, like you're more selective about the shoes that you're wearing,
Sure.
and the jeans that you're wearing, and
Yeah.
and you're not necessarily yourself. You're like if you're going out with the intention of meeting somebody, you know, you're putting on a special outfit.
Putting
Presenting,
the best
yeah.
foot forward.
Yeah,
it's not
you're-
even.
you're
It's not
putting
even
on-
that he's not putting his own like person out. It's
Not
just
at all,
the
but
best
Yeah.
version of him.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
You know, not
yeah. You're a little
necessarily
bit
just
different.
Which is what
your
people
person,
do.
you
Right.
know.
Yeah,
That's what you do when you go out if you're 22 or if you're 35.
And even now, I mean, like I have times. The one time I got drunk recently when I like went out, it was really fun. It was at Morgan's Pier in Philly, and it was with 4 people. We ended up getting a hotel room and staying over. But like, I don't really have a desire to do that very much even now. Honestly, so maybe it wouldn't have made any difference.
Right.
Like,
and then also
what you're interested in doesn't.
I don't
really
think
change.
drinking has any part of it.
I do feel like it does help me a little bit. Like when I go to just like enjoy the night and like settle a little bit.
It might calm me a little bit.
Yeah. It does help me a little bit.
I mean, it is an inhibitor, in certain quantities. It also depends on where you're going, the environment, whether is it a dance club?
Right.
Are you going to a party?
Right.
Or are you going to like a speakeasy where it's, chill and
really relaxed?
There's mixology happening and you're sipping,
Yeah.
I should have started doing ecstasy when I was young. I would have really had fun. No, I'm just kidding. I've never done it. I do have some friends that are like, hey, you should try shrooms sometimes. I'm sure they're probably fine, but I'm not.
I wouldn't recommend trying to meet girls on shrooms.
No, I'm not saying I would meet anybody. I might meet God on shrooms, but I wouldn't meet anybody else.
Yes.
That is pretty funny. I have a couple of atheist friends who said they changed their views. Like I consider myself agnostic at least, but like they were atheists until they did shrooms, and then they like opened themselves up to the possibility of a creator of the universe or something. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. I've never you guys heard that?
Didn't you say that you were atheist before though?
Atheist is just, I actually joined a local atheist group in Delaware, and some of them are just a little bit hardline because they're so anti-religion because they've all been burned by it.
Right.
I'm not, because I see religion helps a lot of people, and it gives a lot of people hope. So I'm like, who am I to tell them that that's stupid? Like, no, that's ridiculous.
But your belief is that there is nothing.
Right. If you had to really pin me down, I'd say there probably isn't. But I'm
really just curious because I love this kind of stuff.
I'm
I always
also
love talking about that.
Yeah, and I'm also open to like some other viewpoint out there, like for instance, if life was planted here on Earth by some other advanced civilization that we have no access to,
absolutely.
and it's sort of that idea of God. Yeah. I'm saying if we found out that was the case, I'd be open. I'd be open to that. Which
is really interesting because you were very Christian for a very long time, right?
Yeah, I was always searching. I always struggled with sexuality and shame of that and all that.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, see, if you would listen to his podcast, you would know.
Oh, I thought we talked about it outside of that, but I mean, church.
I think
was
cool.
We
might actually have talked about it a little bit.
It was like my social group growing up and everything, and I had really good memories. I never really felt burned by it, like a lot of people did, because I always had good, pretty like balanced experiences with it. But then I got to a point where I was like, this is making me feel guilty or shameful for things that I think are good, actually good, and you have to decide for yourself if sex is bad, if drinking is bad, like whatever it is.
All of that.
Watching too much TV is bad. Like you have to decide for yourself, like what level of those things is harmful for you,
right?
Instead of just saying, "Oh, something inherently is evil." I just think that that's really ridiculous.
I agree with that 100%. It's an individualized sense of morality, really.
Right, exactly. Sure. So it's interesting to get into that stuff with you.
I love that.
This is why we get along.
This is
really
literally
well.
I one of my majors in high school was religion or religious. I should say religious education.
And it is interesting. I mean,
I love that
studying
stuff.
it from any perspective is fascinating. Sure. Yeah. I would like to learn a little more.
I was raised Catholic, so like I get that. I'm actually agnostic. But it's also I have to add the European version of Catholic.
Sure.
Because when I say this here, everybody just goes, "Oh."
Well,
but like the German version of like Christianity and like religion, specifically Catholicism. I can't ever say that.
Right.
It's just not as don't know the word, but it's just not as like strict as I have heard it is here.
Gotcha.
I mean, there's still the kneeling and all that kind of stuff, and like in church, it's still kind of weird. But like overall, the community that I was involved, like I was super involved in that. Like I was counselors. Is that what you call?
Oh, you were like a leader, or you're like a young leader, a camp counselor.
I had a group underneath me. Like I had a little group underneath me of like 12-year-olds or 10-year-olds when I was 16, and we would meet weekly and stuff like that. So like my community was involved in church.
Yeah.
The thing I never liked about it was the praying. Like I always thought it was just too much.
Okay.
And I never liked that it's like, oh, you have to go to church on Sunday or God's not gonna like you.
That's the thing. It's
and like that's the part that I could not stand. And like my best friend in childhood, like she was always like, oh well, you guys don't go to church though. And I'm like,
so what?
Man.
Right? Yeah. And
But yeah, she like always made me feel like I was like less of a Catholic because we didn't go every single Sunday. And like my dad tried, but like my brothers and I eventually were just like, nope,
we're not having this yet. It's the do this or else sort of underlying threat of things, which is a little bit like, all right,
one time Dad actually stopped the car and made me go back in the house because I was not wearing socks on the way to church.
Mom fought him a lot on the socks things because she realized how stupid it was, and he really wanted us to wear long socks for some reason. I don't know.
I just had to wear socks. You just had to wear. Well, yeah, that was kind of going the same thing. Is like not only were we going to church, but it had to be a certain way.
Yeah, and now it's like everything's so different in church. Even the church that he leads at, like jeans, shorts, whatever, And that was really the only thing I remember him being like weirdly strict about. Socks. Everything else was. I mean, I thought they were pretty cool about most things. I don't know.
I mean, no. Well, look, it's just like you're saying. It was a social for me when I was much younger, up through early teens. It was a social group. So,
yeah, it really is.
Like instead of Boy Scouts, we had RAs and retreats.
That's right, RAs. Yep.
And that was it was a social thing.
Yeah.
And never thought anything about it. But like once I got into being late teens,
right.
And he took me to a seminar, and the seminar was all about music and how evil it was. And
was he like metal music?
We walked into the
that was Hell's Bells year. That was 80s probably.
Right? We walked into the sanctuary, and there's like all these banners like AC/DC and Van Halen and Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath, and I'm 16 maybe. I want to say I'm 16, and it was a special speaker, and it was like a Wednesday night. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to go to this music thing at church. I'm like, okay, cool, And walk in, and the guy's like, the devil is in this music.
Yeah,
and the Satan is going to convert all you people if you keep listening to this music. You're all going to die. I was like, I'm done. No,
I'm done. Goodbye.
No. It was. I was like, what?
Even at that point, you're like, this is ridiculous. Yeah.
I think like one of the things he was talking about how bad it was like Lionel Richie dancing on the ceiling because
are you kidding?
Only the devil is going to make people dance on the ceiling. So you can't listen to Lionel Richie.
Didn't Dad take you to a Van Halen concert?
Oh, God.
Yeah, before or after?
My favorite story.
Was that after?
What happened right in the beginning of that concert? Would you please tell the story because it's great. Also, you might need to bleep it out.
And Dad, we love you, by the way. You're super cool.
Yeah,
he's
so best. Are you kidding me? He's the absolute
first of all, I have to really appreciate this about Dad because he wanted to bond with me and he knew it was important to me. So he
100%.
was cool enough. I was like 14, and he was cool enough to be like, Andrew really wants to see this band. It was David Lee Roth, and they bought me tickets, and it was just him and me, and we went to this. And, Dad had on his pleated slacks and his leather press shoes and his collared polo tucked in. And he took me to this concert, and David Lee Roth came out, and he's like, hello, fucking Philadelphia!
One of the first words he says.
And I was like, it's going to be a long
story.
That is a great story. Yeah.
Can you just imagine Dad's face? Like immediately, he's just like,
oh.
Yeah.
I regret every second of it.
And I just kind of like glanced over at him, and I was like, oh, he is really uncomfortable right now.
Sorry. Yeah. Now, like, they're cool about stuff like, some of that stuff they're pretty cool about now. It's like, Mom was like, she'll ask me for like, some P. Diddy version of some Sting song. Like, I like this hip hop version. This is kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, they mellow out a lot. And obviously, when they see their kids grow up and their kids are fine, it's like, all right, well,
But that's also like they're a result of their times as well, because it's like back then in the 80s, they genuinely thought that listening to Metallica was going to make their children murderers.
Yeah, it was like the whole.
I get it.
The Satanist scare. They had, what is it called?
The Satanic Panic.
The Satanic Panic.
Satanic Panic. Yeah,
the
Satanic, where they really
80s.
thought like, if you're listening to this type of music, it's
actually going to have some.
It's going to make you go out and murder people.
Now I just wouldn't let my kids use TikTok because it's so annoying. No, I'm kidding. I use TikTok. I love TikTok.
I bet you do.
We need to post more on TikTok. So anyway,
TikTok is the way.
I don't think I would do that now with my kids. I think I'd be pretty open about most stuff. If I could share it with them and like be open about listening to it, and like if they want to listen to a Travis Scott song, it's F this, F whatever. I like Travis Scott. Like, all right, well, let's talk about it. Like, whatever. Why are they expressing this in music? Where is it coming from culturally? Because you can learn a lot of that stuff from it.
But you're saying something very important about that. about it is the communication part about it.
Communication,
which is
you can
probably
share.
also
Really
why
the thing.
Gloria did such a great job, is because that was her biggest thing, is like, you talk to me.
Yeah.
You know?
I always felt comfortable talking about a lot of that stuff. Obviously, like, you know, porn she would be uncomfortable with, as like any parent would be, like at
100%.
below a certain age, right?
100%.
Like, I think everybody would probably get nervous about that. Like music and movies, once they're a certain age, I would be a little less concerned because,
Just
like,
explain things.
yeah.
I mean, that's always been my, like, I really like to curse, and I never, and in Germany, it's very different. You can say on television without it being bleeped out.
How do you say it in German?
Well, we don't really say just but
Well, what would be something equivalent to that?
Dich.
no, yeah, well, that's FU, but
Dich.
yeah, so that's damn
That's
it.
I like it.
that's a really bad one.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We say Schloch a lot
Like, if
more
it's
than
re-
anything.
If you drop something,
Yeah,
break
Schloch
it.
is asshole.
Okay.
But like that is probably the biggest. That is probably one of the biggest. Would you say that's the biggest curse word? Ist das das größte, das schlimmste Wort, was man so sagen kann, finde ich? Ja.
What about
Which one?
Shasa is like. I got that from
But
Born
see, like,
Identity.
that word-
That's not like
I
a
got it
bad
from
word.
a movie. It's not that bad, really.
the
That's not
thing
a bad
for me.
word,
Like
yeah.
that word in particular
Yeah.
is just has no weight for me, because
Gotcha.
I've literally, like, that is just a word, and
Okay.
it's just like never had the weight that it has here.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my first exchange program. I had a younger sister, and I would say the S word all the time, and she would just be like, "Oh, you like sound like you curse like a sailor," and I was like, "What do you mean? It's just that word." And
Means
they're like,
nothing,
and
yeah.
she goes, "Oh,
No.
but that's a really bad word."
But
Right.
not the German word. You not say you wouldn't say you'd say
You'd say
Yes,
the English version.
Yes, I would say
Right.
the English translation of it.
Right. I got it.
Right.
Got it.
But because
And-
it's a translation of it,
yeah.
to me it has the same. Has
so
the same
like
meaning.
in Germany they would just be, but whenever I say and I'm over there, like the Germans always have a
They're like-
reaction like
they perk
It's
up.
because of
the Americans said it.
It's because of
And it's fun. Fun to us.
Yeah.
Because the verfluchte Scheiße is I would say is a little bit worse than just Scheiße.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because everybody always
Yeah.
kind of cracks up a little bit.
Well, it's also because you're the American and you're saying German stuff. So.
It's fun. It's
It's
their
fun.
ears
My
perk up
grandmother
anyway.
actually
Yeah.
always called him the American.
Oh, really?
The Americano.
Oh,
Yeah.
I always refer to myself with my Hispanic friends as the
So
gringo. I just call
funny.
myself gringo
So
anyway.
funny. We don't have an equivalent to gringo.
It's just funny to
But I
say.
love that,
But
too.
it is a little bit derogatory, like when they're in their country. But like, I don't
Yep.
care. It doesn't mean anything to me. So, except the one time I was in Brazil, my girlfriend at the time, who was Brazilian, she overheard people on the train talking about me because I have a shaved head and I'm white. They were like, "Oh, like is he a neo-Nazi or something?" And she felt really embarrassed.
Oh.
She told me this later. She felt really bad, and I was like, "Oh, I think that's kind of funny." As long as they don't really, I felt bad that they actually thought that just because I have a shaved head and I'm white,
Weird.
But it's just that was the quote too. Like she actually said that. I was
Yeah.
like, no, don't feel bad. I understand. I get it. I get how I look. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, for
Look,
sure.
stereotypes are a thing all
the
over the
skinhead
world.
sort of.
Oh,
thing.
they are.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. It just exists
it helps if you're
towards
aware
one
of it.
culture or another. you know?
Exactly. So you don't try to make it worse. So
Oh man, that's
so
I know, that's
never thought
actually
about
also
that
one of
because
the things-
I have a big beard and a shaved head. And I'm just
Well, you have a
Pale
beard, though.
skin.
Usually skinheads don't.
and you were in a
That's
band
weird.
called Gringo.
I was in a band called Gringo.
Which is
yeah.
hilarious.
I forgot about
It's
that.
a great band name too.
Yep.
Yeah. So we do have pizza
was
upstairs.
not a horrible
And Greg, how
band.
far are we in?
I didn't like it.
She didn't
We're
like that band.
51 minutes.
I love it. No, but this is great.
Like,
This
is
is
that
this
good
is
or bad?
family. So it's great. No, it's fine.
Do you usually cut a lot of stuff out?
No,
No, not really.
I don't think we'll cut anything out. This is fantastic.
I was just curious. I don't know.
No, not at all.
Yeah, the
None of it's
cursing is
good.
actually one of the things that he really doesn't like. I call him names a lot, so
Yeah, I guess if it's
that's probably the biggest.
pointed towards someone, like,
but
hey,
again,
F
though-
you,
Okay,
it's-
that's what I have a problem with. I don't necessarily have a problem with you cussing, but like when you're like, you're such an asshole. I'm like,
I know.
oh, come on.
Yeah,
like,
that could,
really,
that
like
could hurt somebody.
That,
I
that
could
hurts
see.
my feelings. Like, I
Sure.
understand that in this moment you don't like the thing that I did or did not do. Usually it's the thing I did not do because I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we really are there.
Here we are.
Oh, my gosh.
We're there.
We've
But then-
arrived.
Okay, but then I don't like when you're like pointing it towards me. It's
No,
like,
I
It's like,
understand.
it's like an emotional sword.
No,
in
I
my
understand
heart.
that though, but like what I'm saying is that it is very similar to me because I grew up with two older brothers and that was just it. Like it wasn't that big of
True.
a deal. So like it's definitely something that I had to adjust to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Obviously it hurts his feelings.
Still adjusting.
I'm
to.
sensitive about that stuff, too. If someone says it, I'm like, oh, man. Especially if I didn't mean
Yep.
something or
Yep.
it was really accidental
I can
or
see that.
I didn't hear a detail, which I do try to be careful about with, like, especially like a significant other. Like, certain details, I'm like, if they tell me they have 3 siblings, I'm like, oh, I'm writing that down. Like something that maybe I will forget. I'm like, I'm going to write this down because I need to remember this.
You know?
Right.
But when it's my siblings texting me, as they did today, saying they wanted a particular type of pizza, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll get you a local beer.
Even a specific type of pizza, just pizza.
My reading comprehension was terrible. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, and then I just like go,
Could have just gotten.
Sorry.
Easily gotten some Capriottis.
That's okay.
I know. We have Papa John's pizza upstairs. It's probably cold now. But this is a good time to wrap up. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Gina as well. Thank you. Eula, Andrew, I love you guys.
Thanks for having us. We love you too.
This is beautiful.
Well, I love you. I don't know about him.
And we could do it remotely again sometimes.
We should. I'd love to meet Ruben.
We probably could.
Yes.
Ruben, I'm sad you're not here.
I mean, I have this. I have a lot of the same setup. At my house.
We could do it
I don't have the cameras and the fancy lights, but
no, just use your computer screen, your computer webcam.
All
right,
we'll just be darker.
Yeah, you do it in front of a window. You have
there
lights
might
or
be
anything?
Cats.
Cats are good.
There might be.
If you have cats, we will make you hold them up.
We have 3 cats.
Show them in the camera.
I think if we hold them all up at the same time, though, they might kill us. And
maybe the most.
We'll just do one at a time.
Well, this is pretty cool though. Thanks for
thanks for having us.
Really appreciate it, guys.
Thanks for squeezing us in.
Awesome. Well, Ruben, sorry you're not here, but we love you. Guys, everyone, thank you for listening. Tune in next week and be entertained.